Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright folks, so Saquon has been talking a little crazy. He's on the Eagles. It is what it is at this point. He's an enemy. He's on the Eagles. He said that his daughter said, "Dad, now that you're on the Eagles, are you gonna win now?" And somebody posted like the LeBron meme of like, just you know how LeBron is always lying. He's always getting caught in lies, and it was just hilarious to me. His daughter might have actually said that, but it just looks so funny to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if he made it up. But that's kind of a weird lie. But anyway, I wanted to get on here today to talk about possible replacements for Saquon Barkley. It's got to happen, folks. It's got to happen. Saquon is going to be someone who he's going to get replaced here. Someone else is going to wear 26. Devin Singletary already has the number. And I wanted to just talk about possible replacements. So, first off, we can just start with Devin Singletary. He's a guy that almost had 1,000 yards last year. A guy that really became the lead back for the Houston Texans. Former Buffalo Bill. I never really thought much of him until last year. And he showed some power. He showed some balance. He showed some playmaking ability. I think he's a guy that could be sort of the lead back out of a crew. I don't think you just want him, going out there carrying. No one is doing that. He's not Saquon. He's not Christian McCaffrey. But I think he is a lead back in a bunch of these systems. So Devin Singletary would be your obvious option for the guy that's going to be the next lead back in New York. So Devin Singletary to start off. Eric Gray is maybe a big question mark. Now, Eric Gray, when he got drafted, most of us were excited because looking at him in the draft, looking at him in college, Eric Gray looked like a good player. I mean, he looked like he had balance, he had power, he could make people miss, which he did a little bit of last year in the preseason, and he just wouldn't go down. So I was expecting a lot more from Eric Gray, and we just didn't see it. So he was never a guy that got to get in rhythm. He never got a bunch of chances besides the kick and punt returns, which we decided that he's probably the worst kick and punt returner that you could possibly have back there because he doesn't have a natural ability to field the football. So you don't want him back there doing that. So is Eric Gray going to get a chance? We'll find out, but it's possible. It's possible that he could be a guy that steps up and is the number 2 or 1A, 1B lead back with Devin Singletary. So Eric Gray is a possibility, not likely, but is still a possibility. Next up, you got Audric Estime, 3rd or 4th rounder this year out of Notre Dame. And he's a guy that ran a 4.71, but when I look at the tape, I don't see a 4.71. I see a guy that probably runs like a 4.59, probably a 4.6 flat, but when he gets on that field, he has explosiveness. He's not the fastest guy on the field, but he has explosiveness. He can run away from people. He's not going to be a guy that just gets caught all the time. He's a guy that has a little bit of acceleration and explosiveness. So Audric Estime is a guy, he's got good feet. He gets up the field extremely quickly. He's a decisive runner. He's coming off of a 1,318 touchdown season. 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns this year. Not crazy receiving numbers. I think he had like 20 catches. Not bad, but not crazy. Maybe 1 receiving touchdown, but 18 touchdowns is pretty good. 18 touchdowns is pretty good. Again, he gets up the field great. He has a nose for the end zone. He's about 5'11", 221 pounds. So not a small guy, not the biggest guy, but really good size for NFL running back standards. And he's a guy that I could see the Giants taking again in the 3rd or 4th round. Another guy that I could see us taking in the 4th or 5th round is Isaac Guerendo. And he's a 4th or 5th round prospect. He's 6 feet, 221, almost the same stats, height and weight wise as Audric Estime. And he's a guy that's just fast. He runs with power too, but he's fast. Speedster. He had 800 yards season and 11 touchdowns this past year. And he blew up the combine. I mean, he's a combine warrior. He has like the 9.99 RAS score. So he's an athlete and he has some production to go with it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 4th, 5th round, maybe even late 3rd round, and see what we can get if we were to take a guy his caliber. So he can be a guy that provides that change of pace, because while Devin Singletary can make some big plays, he's not a guy that's going to, run the length of the field. He's not going to score an 80-yard touchdown. He's not that type of a threat. This guy is a home run threat, and he can be had for, reasonable draft capital. Next up, Blake Corum. Blake Corum is one of my favorite running backs, one of my favorite prospects this year. I think Blake Corum is a guy that really has shown that he can run and be that NFL player, that he can run behind the offensive line, that he can play against really great competition and look like a good player. So I think that Blake Corum is going to early be a good player in the NFL. This is a guy that has multiple 1,000-yard seasons, another season where he had 900 yards. Really productive player on a really good team. And I think he'll probably go round 2, but maybe he falls to round 3 and he's there when the Giants are selecting their pick. So these are the 5 options here that the Giants could possibly go after with any one of their draft picks or in-house. And it's going to take more than one player. Maybe not. But I'm thinking it's going to take more than one player to replace Saquon, especially from the receiving aspect, even though he's caused a couple of turnovers in the receiving game. But I believe that we can have a productive running game, maybe even more rushing yards than last year, with a mix of these players. Again, you got Devin Singletary. You're going to have Eric Gray. You'll probably have one of these 3 guys, hopefully one of these 3 guys. And I think that tandem between Devin Singletary and whoever is going to be the next best player out of that can get you a really productive run game, especially with an improved offensive line. I'm liking the moves we're making as far as getting depth pieces this year. So you guys let me know what you're thinking. Losing Saquon, I'm not thinking it's the end of the world. I hate that he's an Eagle just because I don't want to look at that. But I'm not feeling like it's a disaster scenario because Saquon's gone. So you guys let me know what you think of some of these players. And not too long before we got the draft. You made it this deep into the video. Come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily. And during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.